The runner-up for today is Inflight 200, suffering from quality and some questionable inaccuracies. Inflight has a lot to learn in making their models. Inflight 200 scores 45 out of 60 points, but they still lost by over 10%. With that track record, who knows when they will pose a threat to Gemini jets, if they ever do. What's up, airplane collectors? Welcome back to Model Airplane Showdowns. I'm your host Ray, and in the skies today we've got one of my favorite models. It's the 1 to 200 scale United Airlines Boeing 767-300ER in the Evolution Blue livery. Today we've got two competitors. First up is Gemini 200. Made in 2020, this model was the only 1 to 200 scale United 767 in the Evo Blue livery until now. Its first and only competition comes from Inflight 200. Inflight has seen some action on the show already, suffering 2 losses against Gemini jets and no wins whatsoever. You know what they say though, third time's the charm. For this competition, each model will be checked against the following categories. Each of the 12 categories has a maximum earning potential of 5 points, making a maximum final score of 60 points. The model to earn the highest number of points wins the competition. Tower to aircraft, the skies are clear, all systems go. Begin the showdown. Category 1. Size. Both companies encounter some turbulence in the size category. Neither one of them gets the size right, with both companies underestimating or overshooting the size of the 767 in different areas. Category 1 results. Both competitors earn a score of 3. Category 2. Fuselage. Gemini Jets does a decent job with their fuselage. The overall shape is correct, and there are plenty of accurate details spread throughout. The only problem is the sloppy printing for the cockpit windows. This gives the appearance that the nose shape is wrong, even though it is almost a perfect match to the real aircraft. Inflight 200's model has a solid fuselage, but it needs more improvement than the Gemini one. While it features the same level of detail, the shape is not as accurate since the radome is too pointy. Worse yet, Inflight seems to have forgotten the printing for the radome as well. Not good. Category 2 results. Gemini Jets, 4. Inflight 200, 3. Category 3. Wings. Here, Gemini Jets could have earned a perfect score had it not been for their mistakes. The wings on this model are unbalanced, and they both feature an unnecessary line marking on top of the wing. Everything else looks excellent. The shapes of both wings and their winglets are correct. The recessed control surface lines are all clearly visible and shaped correctly. Inflight 200 again does worse than Gemini here. They make the same mistake by adding the extra line on the wing, but they forgot a small red stencil on the bottom of the left wing. That's not the only thing they forgot either. The silver paint behind the engine pylon is missing, as is the light on the winglet. The winglet shape is not accurate because the top edge is not curved slightly like on the real aircraft. Category 3 results. Gemini Jets, 3. Inflight 200, 2. Category 4. Vertical stabilizer. The Gemini model has a solid vertical stabilizer. The only problem is the blue color on the globe title and the color fade, which is slightly dark. Everything else is correct. The Inflight model needs some work. The globe title shape needs work, and the color fade doesn't match the real aircraft. The execution of the color fade is poor as well, because some of the dark blue paint is poking out from underneath the light blue towards the top. Category 4 results. Gemini Jets, 4. Inflight 200, 3. Category 5. Horizontal stabilizers. Once again, Gemini Jets loses out on a perfect score due to assembly issues. The gap between the horizontal stabilizer and the fuselage is a bit large. That's it though, everything else is pretty much flawless. Inflight 200's horizontal stabilizers cost them a point due to filled recessed control surface lines. Everything else looks fine. Category 5 results. Both competitors earn a score of 4. Category 6. Engines. The mold used to make the Gemini model is getting old, and here it really shows. Generic shapes and less detail than other models cost Gemini Jets 2 points. Another point is lost due to paint imperfections all over the place. Bird strike. Inflight 200 screwed up virtually everything here. Incorrect shapes, markings, and inaccurate details all over the place cost Inflight several much-needed points. Category 6 results. Gemini Jets, 2. Inflight 200, 1. Category 7. 3D details. Gemini Jets put 3D details everywhere on their model, but not everything is perfect. One antenna is too large and the other isn't placed correctly. The two recessed intakes on the belly are also too large. Inflight finally does something better than Gemini, but not without issues. The dome on top of the fuselage is shaped incorrectly, and the belly intakes are too small. They're not even three-dimensional, they're just printed onto the fuselage. Category 7 results. Gemini Jets, 2. Inflight 200, 3. Category 8. Landing gear. Strangely, Gemini Jets has the landing gear on this model permanently extended, unlike their other 1:200 scale widebodies. Without the option to change them out, you'd think the gear is good, but it really isn't. The struts and wheels are crude, with poor detailing and several paint imperfections. Finally, Inflight did a better job than Gemini. Their landing gear is interchangeable with parts for both extended and retracted configurations. Both sets are attached to the model through magnets, which hold them firmly. The parts themselves feature accurate details and an excellent fit with the model. Category 8 results. Gemini Jets, 3. Inflight 200, 5. Category 9. Paint job. This category is usually Gemini's saving grace, but not this time around. Their model has several paint scratches in different areas. The blue color is also a bit too dark. Inflight's paint job wasn't the best, but at least it didn't have scratches everywhere. Paint application was consistent throughout, and the colors seemed correct overall. They lose a point here because some of the recessed lines along the fuselage, wings, and stabilizers are partially or completely filled with paint. Category 9 results. Gemini Jets, 2. Inflight 200, 4. Category 10. Printed details. Again, Gemini Jets usually does well with printed details, but not on this model. Tilted cockpit windows, uneven line joints, and extra details result in a considerable loss of points. This time, Inflight 200 loses points for the same reasons. Extra details, slanted cockpit windows, and missing details also cost Inflight several points. Category 10 results. Both manufacturers earn a score of 2. Category 11. Quality. Being from 2020, Gemini's model unsurprisingly has bad quality. Paint scratches and broken parts were rampant on Gemini Jets models for that year, and this model was no exception. These issues are not acceptable. -3 points for Gemini Jets. Inflight 200's quality was even worse. Missing details in one place, extras in another, scratches, and incorrect shapes are all significant issues which are not easily forgivable. -4 points for Inflight 200. Category 11 results. Gemini Jets, 2. Inflight 200, 1. If you've been keeping track, you might realize that right now we have a tie between both models. They're both at 31 points. This is very unusual, and I think it's the first time we've had something like this on model airplane showdowns. Looks like we're going to need a tiebreaker. Thankfully, one more category remains. Category 12, Accessories. Both models include a metal display stand. Neither one is better than the other at displaying the model. The only difference is that Inflight's base is colored gray, and it has a placard that displays the aircraft type and operator. The Gemini stand is their generic 1:200 widebody stand. The tiebreaker here is Inflight's interchangeable landing gear. In today's day and age, 1:200 scale widebody aircraft should have interchangeable landing gear parts. For some reason, Gemini and JC Wings haven't updated their 1:200 scale 767 tooling in well over a decade, and it still has permanently extended landing gear. Therefore, they lose 1 point. Category 12 results. Gemini Jets, 4. Inflight 200, 5. The scores are in. It's time to announce today's winner. Bringing in a decent model, coming out on top by 1 point. The winner for today's showdown is Inflight 200, scoring 36 out of 60 points or 60% overall. Finally, on their third attempt, Inflight brings home a win on Model Airplane Showdowns. The runner-up for today is Gemini Jets with a score of 35 out of 60 points or 58% overall. They barely missed their chance at knocking out Inflight 200 once and for all. That's the end of today's showdown. Even though we found a winner today, let's remember that both models are works of art, and there's something to appreciate from both of them. Now it's time for my personal note. This showdown definitely could have gone better for both companies. We saw several preventable mistakes from both. What really surprised me was Inflight's engines. They have the tooling for the correct engine parts, but I guess they just didn't use them. That was really sad to see. The only reason they won today is because of their interchangeable landing gear. Honestly, I don't think I'd recommend one model over the other. It's ultimately down to your preferences. If you want an accurately detailed model without interchangeable landing gear, go for Gemini Jets. If you want interchangeable gear and you're not as picky about detail, go for Inflight 200. For me personally, I like the interchangeable landing gear, so I prefer Inflight's model. If you prefer the Gemini model, I totally understand and respect that. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. As always, if you have questions or feedback, please leave a comment below. If you're new to the channel and you want to show some support, like this video and subscribe so you never miss another upload. While you're here, feel free to watch my other videos about the scale models I collect. Happy building, happy collecting, please take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.